I don't, I, like, it's genius. Hey everybody, I'm Catherine and I'm here today with a review. So I honestly have no idea what just happened in the book I read because I did not see that ending coming. It was a huge ass cliffhanger and I'm like, what the fuck? Thankfully, I have not only the third book to read on my shelf, but I was able to just get an audio copy from the library. So life can continue for a little bit. Although technically this is my study break from studying for my psychology exam, which by the time you view this video, I will have completed and hopefully gotten over 80% on, because that would be awesome. So the book I am going to talk about today is Deadline by Mira Grant. This is the second book in her Newsflesh trilogy. The first one is Feed, which was crazy. Deadline picks up a couple months or so after Feed ends, which is awesome because the ending of Feed was bad enough. The ending of Deadline, ugh. I cannot imagine having read this when it first actually was released and then having to wait for Blackout to come out because, I mean, I thought the first ending was bad and then it hits you with the second ending and your mind is just blown. Like, completely blown. Brain matter all over the place. And then you become a zombie. So the Newsflesh trilogy is a zombie trilogy and it is done so well. Like, do not go into this thinking that you're going to get your normal stereotypical zombie because it's not exactly that. The science that they go into behind this makes it completely believable, and it also has so many other aspects to it. So it's really just more than your average zombie book. It deals with conspiracy, science, politics, blogging, journalism. Like, there's pretty much nothing that this book doesn't touch on, which is awesome. There's even mystery because you don't know what the hell's going on, and then all of these new things start happening, and yeah, like, it is insanity. So without causing any spoilers for the first book, I'm going to severely edit because I don't want to give away stuff. But basically, you're dealing with our main characters from the first book, George and Sean, in this. They are adoptive brother and sister, and they grew up in this weird zombie world where regular news has been taken over by bloggers and, like, blogger-certified journalists because the international news didn't actually report on the zombie uprising until it was kind of too late. So Deadline sees us really following Sean around as he's trying to deal with this huge thing that happened at the end of Feed. And we also see George kind of trying to help him move on, but at the same time, like, it's a weird sibling relationship that they have. We're seeing Sean continuing on in this quest. The first book dealt with the two of them following a presidential campaign, and subsequently, the guy that they are following got elected into office. So that's not the focus of this one, although some of the characters from that pop up a little. But it's mostly dealing with the Center for Disease Control and conspiracies that have to do with that, and science behind the whole outbreak, and how it works, and how the disease spreads, and just craziness. This book was so engaging, though. Like, for me, personally, I can understand why some people might find it a little dry because it is very heavy on science and the fiction in science, making it seem more realistic science. I mean, we're dealing with zombies. You can only get so realistic. But there wasn't a moment where I wanted to stop listening. There were times that I had to stop listening, but I didn't want to. I mean, I subjected my mother to listen to this on multiple occasions for sometimes like hours on end. So, yeah. I'm actually surprised she didn't complain more than I thought she would. I was so into this book. And then the ending happened. And I think I stopped breathing for a second or two, because from the first book to the ending of this book, like, stuff happens and you think, okay, well, that's the end. That's done. Like, there's nothing else that can be done with this. And then the end of this book happens, and just every expectation was blown out of the water. Like, I should have maybe seen it coming a little. There are aspects that are dealt with earlier in this book that kind of foreshadow a possibility of the second final ending of this book. But I mean, no. Both endings were kind of foreshadowed, because you have an ending with George and an ending with Sean, and it's just, yeah. There were foreshadowing events for both, which actually made the ending make sense, and then the cliffhanger, and it was like, I'm babbling, I know, because I don't know how to properly put this into words without completely ruining it for at least 10 of you. Basically, this is the type of book that you kind of want to go into completely blind. So if you want to read this, if you haven't already, in which case I don't think I've spoiled anything, so you should be okay. But try and stay away from any spoiler reviews, because honestly, you need to feel the full impact of everything that happens, and spoilers won't allow that. You get some really awesome characters with this series as well. Aside from Sean and George, who are basically our main protagonists, however weird as they may be at sometimes, the way that they're done. I mean, just weird. But anyway, you have Maggie, and you have Dr. Kelly, and you have Mahir, and like everybody. There are several other supporting cast characters that make appearances periodically throughout the book or are actually a part of it. Honestly, Bex was one of my favorite characters because she just did whatever she wanted. Like, she was an awesome female character. She really kicked butt, and she definitely did not let zombie hunting, or zombie poking, I guess you could say, be just a guy's sport. She definitely is a fantastic female role model in this book. So that is it for me for this review. I really do need to get back to studying psychology. So editing and uploading for this will take a while, and it probably won't be until sometime in June before this actually airs, and it's currently April. So, yep. So happy reading, everybody, and let me know down below if you've read this before, if you're a fan of zombie movies or zombie books, and if you think this is something you might like, because honestly, y'all should try it, because it is so different from anything else out there.